Hello, welcome to this week's Trainer Tuesdays. We are going to be going through a Blink app recipe, and it will be a cauliflower risotto, which was delicious, by the way, with your very own Sarah Green. She is a certified personal trainer, a certified nutrition coach, and she's also the manager of Blink Fitness Liverpool. She's going to be going through this recipe and actually showing you how to make it. So, look at those ingredients. She's going to walk you through the step-by-step process, as well as some other things that you can do to add a little extra to this recipe on your own at home.
My name is Sarah. I am the manager at Blink Liverpool, and tonight we're going to be making cauliflower rice risotto with peas, and I'm going to be adding a couple things on top. I'm going to add some roasted lemon and garlic chicken, and I'm also going to be adding a truffle oil and some chives on top. So we're going to get started with the butternut squash. The recipe says to put it in with the cauliflower rice. I am gonna add a little bit more of a texture with it, and I'm gonna be baking it off. So I already have a baking sheet sprayed with, I did avocado oil, and I'm just gonna spread this right on top. And I put agave, paprika, and crushed pepper on this, and then a little bit of oil. Okay, so I put that in the oven at 350, and we're probably gonna leave it in for around 10 minutes, see what it's like then, we'll go from there. I didn't test this recipe out before I started. Well, I went to Wegmans to get all of my produce. The recipe says to do just cremini mushrooms. I couldn't find any, so cremini mushrooms are in here along with oyster mushrooms, and then just regular button mushrooms, and I'm gonna do a mixture of that. I'm gonna put it in the pan that I'm gonna be making the cauliflower risotto in. We're just gonna be sauteing it off. Once it gets a little softer, I'm gonna add some crushed red pepper on top, get a little bit more flavor. You ready? Then we're gonna add a kitten. One Apollo.
I'm so scared. To the pan.
To the pan. Get out of the sneakers.
101, how to treat a cat.
Like I mentioned before, I'm adding on a roasted garlic and lemon infused chicken breast. Okay, when the mushrooms are sauteing, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be adding a roasted garlic and lemon infused chicken breast. I'm just going to be putting that in the pan and sauteing it while the mushrooms are going. Alright, so when your mushrooms look around like this, so we sauteed them for 2-3 minutes, we're going to put them back in their pan before, and then we're going to put the leeks into that pan. Alright, so now we're going to use the same pan. No need to clean it or anything beforehand. I just added a little bit more oil. I'm going to put my leeks in. And we're going to cook these for, I think the recipe says 3-4 minutes. Just eyeball it, and however long it takes for them to get nice and a little bit brownish, translucent like onions do. Then we're gonna add garlic for a couple of, say like around a minute, just to open up those flavors. And then we'll put the cauliflower in. Now that the leeks have cooked for a little bit, they're getting a little more translucent, a little more vibrant in color. We're gonna add the roasted garlic. It says, I think, 2 tablespoons. So we have around that. Just mix it in with the leeks. So now that our leeks and our garlic has a nice little golden brown color to it, they're nice and translucent, we're gonna be adding our cauliflower. I have 2 bags that are 16 ounces because I'm making a little bit more than the recipe calls for. But you'll have a little bit, like half this portion size of this. We're just gonna add it right in to the pan. recipe calls for veg or chicken stock. I personally am adding protein to mine, so or an animal-based protein to mine, so I'm going to be adding cream just to give it a little bit more creaminess. And then once we're done with that, you're gonna cover it and you're gonna leave it for 5 to 7 minutes. I would check it around 5 to see how it looks, but also toss it up a little bit just so that the leeks don't get super overcooked on the bottom and the cauliflower is a little bit less cooked on top. Alright, so now that our risotto is closer to being done, we're gonna add pre-cooked peas. So this way you won't have to deal with like overcooking them, especially since they're frozen. As they thaw, they'll just kind of stay that nice green color that we want them to be. I'm not gonna do the whole bag because that's a lot of peas, but I'll probably do like around half. So that, and then I'll stir it in. And once those are completely thawed out, then I'm gonna add my Parmesan.
I'm sorry, what?
Now that the peas have thawed and our liquid has... Never mind. Okay, now that our peas have thawed and our sauce has thickened a little bit, we're going to be adding our cheese. So I'm doing the full container. If you only do one bag, you'll do a little bit less. So we're just going to add it right on top. And then, again, stir it the same way, same spoon.
No, not the food.
Oh, no, it's not. After you add the cheese to your risotto, I'm gonna have you give it a couple more minutes, maybe turn the heat up a little bit, get a little bit more of a reduction in either your veg stock, your chicken stock, or your heavy cream. It'll kind of help your plate come together a little bit more, get more of that risotto consistency that we love to see. And then at that point, everything else should be done as well. So that's gonna be your roasted butternut squash, your sauteed mushrooms, and then your chicken. So at this point, you're gonna grab whatever you'd like to plate with. I used a bowl, just kind of so you're not chasing the risotto around the plate or anything else that's on top of it. You're gonna start with the base of the risotto. So you're gonna add a nice hearty serving, however much you'd like to eat, but make sure that your eyes aren't bigger than your stomach because we have a lot to add on top of that. So I'm gonna add a nice base of that risotto. Then you're going to add your sauteed mushrooms. I put mine more around the outside. It doesn't matter, however you'd like to put them on top. After you've added the mushrooms to that, then you're going to take a couple of the roasted butternut squashes that you've cubed up. If you're separating this into 2 separate dishes, take half and put that on top of your mushrooms. And then if you've chosen to add a protein, whether it be chicken, scallops, tofu, whichever you'd like, you're gonna add that on top of the mushrooms and the squash. And then you're gonna top with your garnishes. So whether you chose to do the parsley or the chives, you're just gonna salt bae them right on top. And then if you'd like to add the truffle oil, I put a couple drops around the top of all of my proteins, butternut squash, and mushrooms, and then a couple dots around the side just so that every bite gets a little bit of that truffle oil on top. And now you're ready to eat. I hope you enjoy this beautiful dish that we've made together and all of the fun new ways that we kind of changed the recipe around to make it a little bit more appetizing and delicious. Had my little chef twist to it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. And hopefully we'll be doing more of this in the near future. Let us know if you love this, if there are any changes that you'd like us to make, and we'll go from there.